Hello, and welcome to the Duke and Dutch podcast. My name is Duke. This is Dutch. It is a
Hello.
beautiful Saturday, about 80 degrees over in Pennsylvania currently. Sweating like crazy. Just found out my car has no air conditioning. Stopped working. Awesome.
It's a wonderful time for it, isn't it?
Absolutely, as always. How's your day going, Dutch?
I'm hot. A little too hot.
Yeah,
But we got a
understandable.
pretty good show for you. This is going to be our first ever episode, so give us a little grace with it. And we are going to go into our probably most contentious topic we've talked about so far. It's a little but you know, it's a little sensitive, but we're going to try to do it anyway.
Let's get to
So,
it.
well, if anybody's on Twitter, you would know that the big thing blowing up right now, I mean, it's covering my feed completely, is Miss or Mrs. I don't know if she's married or not. Shiloh Hendricks. Miss or Mrs. Shiloh Hendricks is in a bit of a pickle right now. She's kind of been caught up saying the gamer word at a park to a child. I'm going to play some context for you. We're going to be visited by the Hodge twins because they have the only video that I have found so far that is properly bleeped. So we're going to play that, and then we're going to react to it. And also shout out to the Hodge twins. I don't know if you watch them, Duke. I watch them infrequently.
I've seen them here and there, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
So let's check this out.
Did you call him the child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him a... Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right.
She called your bluff, man. She called your bluff.
Sure did.
She didn't say it once. She said it like, what, three? Well, he did ask. Yeah, you asked her to say it, and white woman obliged. Okay.
What you say?
You don't go digging through people.
Somebody digging through you.
A little kid just did, you dumbass.
That little kid, you call him a nigga?
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one, he's gonna...
Are you about to hit him? You chasing him?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know that's a hate speech. And you can be recorded for that.
I don't give a
Okay, we'll see about that, what the internet has to say.
All right, so that's pretty much the video. And what I find very interesting about this is a very, very kind of imperfect victim. Now, if it were me at the park with my child and something happened like this where some child came up, sort of rummaged through my bag, I mean, I never have a bag at the park, but if that happened, would I react in this sort of way? No. Do I think it's appropriate to react in this way? No. But this woman's life has pretty much been turned upside down from this whole incident. And what I think is very fascinating about this is she's raised $551,000, which is an absolutely insane amount. But I'm going to get into my explanation of why I think that that's happening. I bet if I refresh it, let's see if I can refresh it. It's gone up $3,000 since I refreshed it. But I'm going to give we're going to get into that, but I just wanted to explain what this woman is currently going through for saying the gamer word at the park to a child. Which, again, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, Duke. I feel I wouldn't do that, personally. But
I mean, I'm right there with you. I wouldn't necessarily react the same way that this person's reacted, but it's definitely become a messy situation, to say the least.
well, this woman's situation is messy, and that's what we're going to get into right now. And this is her give, send, go. So you take it with a grain of salt, what she's saying. But she says, my name is Shiloh. I've been put into a very dire situation. I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was.
Oof. Yeah, that's okay.
Well, we have no footage of the initial interaction, and I would imagine that more stuff is going to come out about this. But I mean, people are already going to draw lines. It's inappropriate. I would agree it's inappropriate, but I think there's a lot more going on than saying the gamer word. But let's continue. Another man who we recently found out has had a history with law enforcement proceeded to record me and follow me to my car. He then posted these videos online, which has caused my family and myself great turmoil. My social security number has been leaked. My address and my phone number have been given out freely. My family members are being attacked. My eldest child may not be able to go back to school. Even where I exercise has been exposed. I'm asking for assistance protecting my family. I fear that we must relocate. And this is a very key word, relocate. I have 2 small children who do not deserve this. We've been threatened to the extreme by people online. And I would believe that. I mean, people online are pretty rabid and wild. So, anything will help, yada, yada, yada. And obviously, I mean, she's gotten way more help than anybody ever could have expected. If you went back 5 years ago.
$500,000. That's crazy, man.
If you go back 5 years ago, this person would have been canceled. They would have been ostracized. Yep. And I think what it is, it's a combination of, like, it's almost like reverting to tribalism. It's really what it is. It's a tribal sense because of the whole about a month ago, the Austin Metcalf Carmelo Anthony thing happened, and Carmelo Anthony was able to raise $500,000 off of obviously taking another person's life, and that was all fine and good. And this person said the gamer word, and obviously to a child, so I think that's totally inappropriate. I don't think either of these people. I mean, obviously, no, they're not in the right.
I wouldn't say that to a horrible precedents because I can just see this snowballing to something so disgusting and negative.
But it's turning into tribalism, is what's happening.
Yeah, it's sad.
I don't know if it's sad or it's just a natural reaction to stuff it's just going to happen. It's like, it's a little Let me see here.
When I say sad, it's sad to see the state of the world that feeds into this. Like, we live in a media world where it's just people eat this stuff up. People are donating money to these causes, and it's just like craziness.
Carmelo Anthony, he took the life of Austin Metcalf over. We're not going to get into that whole situation, but apparently, he was sitting under a tent. Austin told
we
him
don't
to
need
move.
to get into too many specifics.
More will come out in discovery of this, apparently. But he raised $520,000 for taking the life of somebody. And some of the things on here that they were saying were incredibly heinous. And some of it's just very anti-white. So I feel like this fundraiser is not so much about this woman. It's not condoning that she said the gamer word, even though it kind of is, because if you're going to give her all this money.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But it's almost like a counter to this.
Yeah.
And then there's a few other questions that come up, which I want to get into. I think more will come out about this probably in Discovery. Now, I don't know. I don't know if these heights are correct. This child to me does not look 5 years old.
That's honestly, when I heard that during the video, I didn't say this to you, but that's exactly what I thought. It looks more exactly like a 10-year-old.
It could be an extremely tall kid, but also
that's
apparently
not a 5-year-old.
Apparently the parents were not around at the playground, which obviously you're not going to send a 5-year-old down to the playground by themselves, or I wouldn't think you would. But I mean, it's possible, I guess. So I don't, like, this is obviously it's on the internet. You take it with a grain of salt. Not that I think that mattered. I mean, it would add more context to the story, but it's like how much is true and how much is not true. Also, this guy who filmed Shiloh, which is why I wanted to wait for this story, the charges against them have been dropped for apparently they were accused of sexually accosting a 16-year-old. But the charges were dropped because the judge says, in the interest of justice, the charges should be dropped. So, again, take with that what you will. It does question why this person was at the park. I don't know, maybe they were there with their kids, but it's not somebody I would really want, even if they were, this was dismissed. I probably wouldn't want this person at the park, especially if they're not there with their kids. So I feel like it leads into this whole thing that, I mean, Shiloh is obviously an imperfect victim. I'm not condoning at all what she did, because I just wouldn't react that way. But then again, I'm not getting $550,000, so maybe
like I said, that's the problem. Now these types of behaviors, like Carmelo Anthony's, like Shiloh's, are being incentivized by thousands of dollars being given to them.
Well, there's an obvious difference, and I'm telling you, this is a direct reaction to this.
Doesn't mean it's
But
okay, though. That's the question. Just because it's
No.
a direct reaction doesn't mean it's okay.
Well, but one of them is somebody said a word to somebody. I mean, to a child, which is not correct.
And then
But
somebody...
then they attempted to destroy this person's life over it. One of them did end the life of another person. I don't even know if I should say allegedly. I guess I will for, allegedly, because he hasn't been convicted. But there's really the only context that you need to know, is it self-defense or not? Which it doesn't seem like to me it is, but, the court proceedings will play out.
It's not our place to say one way or another.
Well, yeah, I have no idea. In all honesty, it doesn't sound like it, but, not a lot has come out from the actual incident. Apparently they have recordings of it. We don't know. But this woman, Shiloh Hendricks, would never, ever have been given this money if this situation with Carmelo Anthony didn't happen. And I really can't, because I see so many people on Twitter drawing parallels to this. And it's just a knee-jerk reaction to something that people feel is wrong, that you can kill somebody, you can raise $520,000. Well, then if this person says a word, I don't think either of them are right. I don't think you should be cursing at kids, no matter what you say. And I don't think you should go around plunging things into people's chests. I think both of them are wrong. But literally, Shiloh's situation is a complete reaction to this. And, as
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look at this tweet right here from I am yes, you are no, which this guy is, he's a little known, but he says, we're in the lead. Monumental. It's diverted into tribalism at this point. That's what it is. It's tribalism.
And
I think it's
that's another topic then in itself, which I honestly don't even really want to feed into. But
Well,
it's sad.
No, but
that's what I mean when I say it's sad. Like this is what it's being categorized as now.
Well, but that's what this story is. Because if there was no Carmelo Anthony, this woman probably would have been doxxed. She probably would have had her life ruined.
Arguably, though, that's two funding pages that shouldn't be funded, and yet they both cumulatively have raised over $1 million, and that's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
I would disagree with that. I think hey, anyone can put up a Give, Send, Go for anything, or a GoFundMe for anything. And if people want to donate, hey, they're free to do so. That's
for the
beauty
longest
of
time,
America.
I've disagreed with the whole GoFundMe pages. There's too much of this. This is the reason why I disagree with GoFundMe pages. Money gets allocated to causes that shouldn't be funded.
Yeah, but who's to say what should be funded and what shouldn't? That's the beauty of the
That's
First
what everyone's
Amendment.
opinion's for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. Do I think it's silly? Yes, but hey, if people want to donate to Carmelo or they want to donate to Shiloh, or if there are counter Give, Send, Goes to the little kid who got called the gamer word, and to Austin Metcalf's family. I'm just saying, if this didn't exist, this wouldn't exist. It's a knee-jerk reaction to this. And honestly, I don't think anybody's life should be. I think she was incorrect, but should her life be canceled? Should her entire life be destroyed over it? I don't think so.
There's
I think that's
consequences to everyone's reactions. Should it be to this extent? Like we were saying, I don't think so, but she shouldn't have necessarily started this situation for herself.
I wouldn't have reacted that way, but
Yeah.
I didn't get $550,000 either. So
I don't like the way
I'm
that
not suggesting anybody should.
I'm not a fan of the way that she
Well,
swings it like somebody else is causing this situation to her. Last time I checked, her words is causing this situation to her. Just happened that
100%,
somebody
100%.
else recorded it and put it on the internet.
Yeah, no. Obviously, she's responsible for her own actions, her own words. You have to be.
And the
just saying-
the consequences of her responsibility is she gets $550,000.
But it's a cult. It's a whole tribalism aspect. It wouldn't exist if Carmelo Anthony didn't somehow
It just sets
raise
a horrible
$520,000.
precedent. We're gonna see. all but
I think
certainly
we're gonna see.
guarantee you
I
we're going to
think
see
as the
story
summer
after
goes
story after story after story where people are just getting money for bullshit, absolute bullshit.
well, people get money for bullshit all the time, but no, I
Yeah,
think
but to this
honestly, I
level,
think as the
this is
summer
just
goes on, I
insane.
think this is going to ramp up more and more and more with these imperfect victim type people, and I really think this summer might get pretty wild.
Like
That's my take on it.
it makes me want to set up a GoFundMe, but my GoFundMe will be a legitimate one, so I'd probably raise $2.
You can call me the N word anytime you want. Let's
No
see how
thanks,
that
I'm
goes.
good. I try not to use that word.
All right. So wrapping up that segment, like I said, probably the most divisive thing. I'm kind of glad we like shuffled through it because I told you before I was like nervous about talking about that, but I'm like, people are gonna they're gonna say things online anyway.
Yeah,
But
it is what it is.
it is what it is. But I wanted to go back to this story. We talked about it on our test podcast a couple days ago with Congressman Sri Thanadar, I hope I'm saying this right, who has filed an impeachment inquiry against President Trump. I think 7 impeachment articles. I believe he's scheduled. So let's hear what he has to say.
This is Congressman Sri Thanadar. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump.
So what he's referring to here is the Supreme Court ruling that Kilmer Abrego Garcia deported to an illegal immigrant with alleged gang ties. I wouldn't even say alleged because it's been pretty much proven.
Let's say alleged.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say alleged just for
We got to do our due diligence. It's part of our job.
It's not really alleged. The Supreme Court has ruled in a 9-0 ruling that he needs to be returned to the United States. It's not that he can't be deported because he is an illegal immigrant, but he has some type of hold on him that he cannot go back to El Salvador, and that's where he was deported to. However, the problem is right now that he is in El Salvador, and the president of El Salvador doesn't really want to bring him back. Now, could Trump bring him back if he wanted to? Yeah, probably. I guarantee he could. But this is where we're at in this, and this is why Mr. Sri Thanadar, again, I'm sorry for butchering your name, guy, is so upset.
The court said the wrongfully deported Kilmer Garcia must be allowed to.
What just happened here? All right, there we go. Also, there was a good point. I gotta stop talking. I explain things and then they go on to explain them. I'm so sorry, everybody. Like I'm trying to get better at that, but like I'm like trying to be a know-it-all here.
Let's get better episode by episode.
Due process. Trump ignored it. He ignored the Constitution. He ignored the very checks and balances that keep our democracy intact. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a dangerous, deliberate pattern. That's why today I introduced a resolution to impeach Donald J. Trump, outlining 7 articles of impeachment.
How many times have you impeached now? I know he was impeached twice in his first term. Is this the? I don't know if this is the first or the second time in his second term, but
yeah, I've lost count.
People sure love to impeach Trump, man. I don't know why.
Or at least try to.
I don't know why nobody used the 25th Amendment on Biden for the past, 2022 to 2024 when you knew he was in a cognitive decline. But Democrats are still saying, no, he's sharp as a tack.
Article 1. Obstruction of justice and abuse of executive power. From denying due process to unlawful deportations, Trump defied court orders.
Due process is granted to United States citizens.
Yep, I think that's all that needs to be said on that.
Just to be clear.
Yep.
Article 2. Taking away Congress's power of the purse. Trump dismantled agencies and froze funds without permission from Congress.
I think he's talking about Doge.
Yeah.
Abuse of trade powers and international aggression. He imposed damaging tariffs. and threatened military invasions of our allies. Article 4, violation of First Amendment rights. He has retaliated against journalists, attorneys, and critics for exercising their right to free speech.
I really like. I was gonna defend Trump in this. I really was. But I draw the line at journalists getting bullied. That is so unfair. They are such beacons of goodness and truth. How dare you slander journalists?
Yeah, I'm not
Article
entertaining a
5.
single thing he said so far. It's all just propaganda bullshit at this point.
Well,
For him just trying to get his name out there.
but before this guy popped up on this impeachment thing, I'd never even seen him before.
Never heard of him.
Which, in all honesty, I will not say that. I mean, that's not really fair to him because this is a 70-year-old man apparently. So his entire face is plastic. He's wearing a wig. So maybe I have seen him before. I just don't recognize him now. It's possible I have seen this guy before, but I just don't recognize him.
Creation of an unlawful office establishing the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, and giving Elon Musk unconstitutional power over our government and personal data. Article 6, bribery and corruption. He has dismissed criminal cases and solicited payments from foreign governments and coerced legal settlements for personal and political gain.
That's the only thing that he said so far that I'm kind of unfamiliar with. I don't know what he actually could
I'm
be
not
referring
sure what he's
to in that
referring to
sense.
on that one.
Maybe he's confused with Biden. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was gonna
But
say taking bribes from other countries. Trump, I'm not aware of that, but okay.
all right, I'm gonna. I hope he doesn't elaborate because now I'm gonna feel like an idiot again.
Article 7,
Okay.
tyrannical overreach. Finally, and most importantly, he is attempting to consolidate unchecked power and erode the constitutional limits of the presidency. In this country, we have presidents, not kings. That's not just misconduct, it's impeachable misconduct. This isn't leadership, it's tyranny. If we let this stand, we are saying the president is above the law, that the United States Constitution is optional. I won't be silent, and I'm calling on all my colleagues, Democrats, Republicans, and
This guy looks like he has too many teeth.
I think we've heard. We don't need to listen to the last 12 seconds, and that's good enough. I mean,
I wanted to get Trump's response to this.
go ahead. Yeah, let's do that first.
And today they did it again. Some guy that I'd never heard of. John James, is he a congressman, this guy? He said,
He's some type of Democrat.
ladies and gentlemen, I am going to start the impeachment of Donald Trump. What the hell did I do? Here we go again. They want to impeach me. This lunatic used up. Actually, I had the television way down, and I said to our great First Lady, listen, did I just hear I was being impeached again? We're getting good at this, though. No, they've gone totally crazy. These people, and you know what? They've totally lost their confidence. They can't even tell
Facts.
a lunatic like this dumb guy that said it. And then you have the other one that's always with the cane. He's always impeaching. He raises his cane.
Al Green.
Always impeaches. But they have no control over those people. They have no control, and the reason is they've lost their confidence.
I don't even think it's that they lost their confidence. I think it's just Democrats realize if you shout the loudest, if you say, crazy off-the-cuff things, if you're going to be the most radical person, that is the current state of the Democratic Party.
That's a fair statement right there.
They have no confidence anymore as a party. They have no candidates. And when they say that Bernie...
Oh,
Boy.
man. I got too many things. I'm going to have to close
Bernie's
down some stuff
probably
after
the
this.
best they have. By the way, he's about 7 years older than me, more, 8 years older. One thing...
I'm going to just say something about it. Bernie could have ran for president at one point. The Democrat Party completely screwed him over.
Yep. They chose not to have him, which was an awful
Oh,
decision.
yeah, of course. They literally ousted him when he
Yep.
was probably going to be the person who would have represented the ticket, but they
He
didn't
would have
want
given
that.
him their best option, and then they basically flushed it down the toilet themselves. Yep.
I got to give him credit. He's a lunatic, but he's still pretty sharp. And he's going around with AOC +3, you know, the +3 follow. They hang on for little bits. They hang on for nuggets. And they get crowds. They say, oh, our crowds are so much bigger than their crowds. Their crowds are small. If I ever had a crowd like their biggest crowd, they'd say it's over for Trump. He's lost the magic. But this is great, and all the people outside, we love you. We put screens up.
All right. They were good on that.
I'm such not a fan of the crowd talk. Anytime Trump has done it in the past, I hate that
You
he
don't like his rally?
spends.
I think his rallies are awesome, man. He gets
I don't mind his rallies. I mean, he can get his crowds and whatever, but the fact that he spends time talking about how big his crowds are compared to other crowds, it's like,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
who
that's
cares? Like, come on.
Yeah. He does. He's egotistical. Man.
Yeah, that's the one negative
He's
thing
an
I'll say about all
egotistical
that.
guy. It's like, you know, I like.
I don't care how big your crowd is. Shut up.
No, but he does.
I
He
know.
likes like
I know
it
he
strokes
does.
his ego. You know, you're not gonna have a perfect politician, and Trump is definitely not a perfect politician. I don't agree with
I
everything
don't
he
think we
does.
should ever strive
think
to
he does a
find
lot
a
of good,
perfect politician. Yeah.
So, you know, if
not
it's gonna keep
realistic.
us from socialism, I'm okay with it. You can let him talk about his crowds.
And they can say whatever they want about Doge, but we, or the people of America, have been asking for light to be brought to government corruption.
Well, I think
And that's
there's gonna be a
exactly what
limit put
Doge
on
is
it,
doing.
too. I don't think Doge is gonna go on. I don't think it's gonna go on that much longer. It seems like
No.
they're probably wrapping up.
But
I think they
either
just wanted
way,
to go through and
everything
cut
that they're
inefficiency.
complaining
I don't
about
know
is
if they
what
want much longer.
Americans have been asking to do for years. So what are we really complaining about at this point? Like,
They don't listen to America.
Isn't he doing what the people have been asking?
No politicians
sense.
listen to Americans.
Yeah.
Overwhelmingly, they say Republicans and Democrats support term limits on Congress. Why haven't they done that? Because
Yep.
Congress doesn't want to do it.
Because Congress doesn't
Or
want to do it.
overwhelming Americans support that there should be no stock trading when you're in Congress. Well, that's
Yeah.
still a thing. It's just I don't know the puppet game. I'm not a senator or representative or anything like that. I don't know the puppet game you have to play, and I'm sure you have to do a little,
I mean,
little puppet dance when you get in there. But
it's basic
Yeah, it's-
assumptions. It's assumptions, but at the same time, it's credited assumptions.
let me just
Somebody
close
who
down
has
the
their
computer rather
income
than-
coming in from how the government is structured is not going to be willing to restructure the government.
Well, as we were talking before about that, I don't know, the Sri Thanadar. This is the response from the Detroit News. Democrat reps drop sponsorship of Thanadar's resolution to impeach Trump. What a surprise. 4 Democrat members of Congress removed their names as original co-sponsors of the articles of impeachment. Oh, the Detroit U.S. Representative Sri Thanadar, okay, that's where he's from. He's from Detroit. Introduced this week targeting President Donald Trump. The lawmaker's office indicated that Thanadar's staff, and again, if I'm butchering that, I'm really sorry, had not followed up with their bosses to confirm that they wanted to be added to the resolution, with House members having come away from their conversation with Thanadar, thinking that the Democratic leadership had vetted the measure when that never happened. What a surprise.
Boy.
The members who had their names removed included U.S. Representatives Jerry Nadler of New York, former chair of the House Judiciary Committee, Jan it's got to be a Polish name, Chakowski, and Robin Kelly of Illinois, and
Kwesi Mfume.
Mfume.
Yeah, Kwesi Mfume, man.
Thanadar was serving his second term, said he respected his colleague's decision and noted the addition of co-sponsor and Texas Representative Al Green. Al Green was the person who erupted on the floor, shaking his cane in the air. He was so offended because Trump was going to cut Medicare and Medicaid, which that was never a thing. It's just sound bites. It's just to get your name out there. I didn't know who Al Green was before. Now I know who he is because I know, hey, he's the cane shaking guy. It's just and this it's all political theater. All the Democrats wish they had the looks of AOC, because then you could just spout nonsense all the time and people would recognize you. Because at least, she's pretty decent looking. This is not a decision, quote, this is not a decision I came to lightly and can appreciate anyone that wants to think deeply about this. My constituents elected me to do what I think is right, and I felt I had to introduce articles of impeachment in response to the president's many crimes and unconstitutional activity. And again, I don't got to go through this whole thing. I don't think you want to go through this whole thing, right?
No. Yeah.
It's just, well, I wanted to follow up on this though. Even the Democrats are saying
we heard the seven reasons why he wants Donald Trump impeached, and
the sixth reason I'd be a little more interested to hear about, but everything else is just it's a nothing burger.
The one I'd like to hear what he actually has evidence of foreign bribery and stuff like that. I'm not aware of anything to do with that.
It's literally old man yells at cloud. It's like, all right, well, I wanted to cover it again, but it's like, again, this guy's doing it just to get his name out there.
I mean, at this point, even Democrats are starting to jump off the bandwagon, so they all know, like, this isn't happening. It's not going to do anything.
If he is a constituent of Detroit, he's probably in a heavily blue area. He's literally just doing this because he's trying to, he's signaling to his base. He's saying, hey, look what I'm doing.
I tried. I did something. I tried.
Well, exactly, and now he can say that when he runs for re-election, which is that's all these people want to do. They don't want to.
They want to stay in office. Yeah.
That's all they want to do.
They just want to stay in office.
So yeah, let's move on from this here. We're going to go. We got to cover this story again. I know Duke is very sick of this story.
I'd rather talk about this one than the last one, though. I'll tell you what.
This is just a little recap. Kilmer Abrego Garcia. As we all know, he was, and actually, what's his name? Just talked about it. Shri Thanadar. He was just talking about this. This is one of his articles of impeachment. So this actually segues a little bit nicely into that. But this is one of the big things they have, Kilmer Abrego Garcia, which I think I covered before, or I mentioned a little bit, but yeah, he was imported or deported, not imported, sorry, deported to El Salvador. He's in an El Salvadorian prison. He's a suspected MS-13 gang member. He's been caught in multiple crimes, multiple offenses. One, he's here illegally, so he shouldn't be here in the first place. And we're gonna get into some of the other ones, but two, he got caught in violation of the Mann Act, trafficking people across state lines. Apparently, his wife has filed 2 protection of abuse orders against him, one in 2020, one in 2021. And he is literally the Democrats' poster boy. He is what they will literally go to bat for and literally fight over. And I mean, obviously, Senator Van Hollen here from Maryland made a fool of himself going down there to get this guy out of prison to go have like cocktails with him or something like that. All on, the taxpayers' dime. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's lunatics, as they would say. But I wanted to bring this back up because there's a little more context to it. This is from Fox News. Charlie Kirk posted it, but yeah, Jesse Waters, Fox News. This is apparently from the traffic stop back in 2022 when he was apparently in violation of the Mann Act, carting people across state lines.
Van Hollen changed his tune because every day another shoe drops on the Maryland dead. He was a suspect in a human trafficking operation dating back 3 years. And Fox Digital just got their hands on the body cam. But you're seeing it here first. Tennessee Highway Patrol stopped Kilmer for speeding and noticed he had 8 other people in the car. All no luggage. Take a look.
That's odd, isn't it? Interesting. No, he's not associated with any, that's totally normal behavior for anybody. I've been caught in the, I don't even know. I'm not even.
Hello, sir.
I have no smart retort for it.
You? All right. Anything good? You got a bunch of people in here, don't you? It's 1 for shit. Yes. Go back to work. Gotcha. Where are you working at? Where? San Luis, Missouri. Missouri? Yes, sir. Gotcha. Okay.
He's supposed to, yeah,
I'm from Maryland. Where do you live at? Where are you living? Mm-hmm. I live in Maryland. Maryland? Yeah, also. Whose vehicle is it? What? Whose car is it? It's to my boss. Boss. Yeah. Where's he live? Where's your boss live? My boss right now is staying in Maryland, but we live in Texas. Okay. Houston, Texas.
Sounds odd, doesn't it? I mean,
I mean, it's all over the place.
I mean, you live in Maryland. Your boss is in Maryland, but he's actually resides in Texas, and you work in Missouri.
Yeah, it's all over.
It's not a,
And did that video result in any charges?
we're gonna find that out. Actually, no, I'm wrong. You know, Maryland. If you live in Maryland, you work in Missouri. It's only about 14 hours. It's not that. See, I'm jumping to conclusions here now. Let's play this out. What do you got to say, Jesse?
After talking to Kilmar, the officers had no doubt he was trafficking.
You know what you got here, right?
No.
He's hauling these people for money. You got an ass hauler, is what he's doing. But sometimes they commingle dope.
No, but
He,
did you see how squad in the back?
there's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland, I would say, if I had my
He
guess.
said they all work together. Is what he's telling me, but he's the only one that knows.
So let me ask you this: they don't have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're gonna have a tube of toothpaste and they're gonna have toothbrushes in their pockets. I guarantee it.
He's got $1,400 cash in his pocket in an envelope.
So in the video, you can see one of the cops making a phone call. The body cam audio cuts out for 10 minutes. Sources told us that on that call was Joe Biden's FBI, which advised police not to detain Kilmar at the time. That source also tells us Highway Patrol called Biden's ICE, and they never showed up. Biden's guys said an MS-13 gangster, suspected human smuggler and wife beater, released into the country. God knows what he did and was never caught for before Trump deported him.
This is the Democrats' hero, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. The Democrats' hero. This is who they
the
will
person
fight.
that they want returned back to America.
They're not even returned. They're fighting tooth and nail. This is a representative just had impeachment. This is an article of impeachment that they will not bring this person back. Lunatics. I mean, it's absolute insanity that you go to bat for somebody like this. But
just let them. I mean, let them. They make their own. Like back to the conversation we've had numerous times. Let them make a fool of themselves. It's totally
That's
fine.
why they're failing. They're literally failing on every. They're 20% on every 80 to 20 issue, and they wonder why they're pulling it like 20%.
Especially with how much evidence there is at this point, they're just making themselves look dumber and dumber by the day.
It's not only that; it's literally they call ICE, they call the Biden DOJ, and they're like, "Oh well, you know, somebody's smuggling people across state lines. That's a violation of the Mann Act." And they're just like, "Oh, do nothing about it. Don't worry about it." Like that's absolute insanity. You can't
talk about negligence.
That's why that act exists.
Yeah,
and that's a federal charge if you want to pursue it. But following up on that, since this is such a wonderful Maryland man, as they say, he's not an El Salvadorian, even though he was born there. Maryland man. Audio of a 2020 court hearing where Kilmar Abrego Garcia's wife asked for a protective order against him. This is the first protective order she asked for. There was another one in 2021. So let's have a listen here. I think we got to skip a little bit ahead here, but in an audio recording from August 2020 court hearing, Jennifer Vasquez Sura details allegations of domestic violence. Neither of us were in a good place, yada, yada, yada. Let's skip a little bit ahead.
I think it was to fill out a protective order. I think it was in December. But I didn't show up to the court because his family, washed my brain telling me that his dad was sick and not to do it. So I didn't do anything. But after that, it was I would call the police. I have a lot of police reports. And I kept trying to get to the door basement to try to open the door, and then he pushed me. So then when I was able to go outside to get a phone, I called 911 from a disconnected phone. Now they took a long time to get to the house. It was probably 20-30 minutes. So I saw a neighbor walking his dog, and I opened the door and I was like, help. And then when he heard me, he grabbed me from my hair and then he slapped me. And then the neighbor, he didn't know what to do, didn't know what to react. I have pictures of the evidence, like all the bruises, because it's not, even on Wednesday, he hit me like around like 3 in the morning. He would just wake up and like hit me. And then last Saturday for my daughter's birthday party, before I went to my daughter's birthday party, he slapped me 3 times. And then last week I did call the police. My sister called the police because he hit me in front of my sister.
Just countless and countless, countless and countless reports of how wonderful a man this gentleman is.
Well, I said this on the last thing we did. Obviously, if anyone watches, they're not going to know this, but like, this is all secondary. I mean, this proves that this is not a good person. It's not a good human. Obviously, you're participating in breaking the law. I mean, and not breaking the law like I'm going to steal a candy bar from the store or I'm going to steal a shirt from the store.
Human trafficking.
You're
Domestic
trafficking
violence.
humans across state lines. You're beating
allegedly
your wife, allegedly. Although that's a whole nother thing too. She's now walked back on that and says now he was a good husband, and now she's in pain and she's suffering. And yeah, that's the comments. Yeah, Tommy Lawrence, someone is paying her, hasn't affected her appetite. Oh, that's not nice. I won't say that. I'm sorry. That's not.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. Hold on. Let's reel that in.
That wasn't me. That was Chris Bacon here. Which, but this the whole point is just. Well, I don't know. Now she's walking this back. She wants, her husband back and all this stuff. But I'm gonna just play the clip. I'll play the clip.
It's been 50 days. 50 days of pain and suffering. 50 days of uncertainty. And as we finally saw the proof that Kilmer was alive, my children and I had to watch Trump and Bukele's administration laugh over pain.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, Miss Vasquez Sora. He's here illegally. He has alleged gang affiliations, even though I wouldn't say it's alleged, but okay, I'll say alleged, because we got to use that word. Alleged gang affiliations, which has pretty much been proven, but we'll say alleged because the Democrats won't admit to it. Why should I have to? He's been caught. I mean, he's trafficking. I mean, how much lower? I mean, obviously, you're beating your wife. That's pretty bad. But then you're trafficking humans across state lines.
Allegedly. Let's not make sure.
I don't know. I saw the video. I don't know if that's alleged, man. Like that's pretty much like
of the wife of abusing anybody.
I don't know if that's alleged either. I mean, that's what she said. That's her own words.
Unless there's actual charges. Let's remember. Come on, we got to reel it in.
Those are her own words. I'm just saying. Those are her words. I'm not putting words in her mouth. She's giving me words so I can put into my mouth. So, I mean, maybe she was lying. Maybe she misremembered it. Maybe she has amnesia. I don't know. I have no clue. Yeah. All I know is this person has done a total 180 in the past couple years. And listen, I imagine that, obviously her and her family are probably under a bit of duress. And, if somebody who's providing for the household and is in your life, no matter if they're great or they're, bad or whatever, they get suddenly removed, I'm sure it is kind of shocking. If somebody gives you the platform to do it, yeah, why wouldn't you just go out there and say whatever you want to say?
How much money have they raised on GoFundMe? That's a joke. I would not be surprised if you checked right now that they do have a GoFundMe and they probably raised $750,000. Let's not spend too much time looking at this, but if there is one, let's talk about it.
Well, I don't see anything on Did I spell it right? I think I did spell it right.
So let's not worry about it anymore than if you didn't find anything right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't see anything.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next step. They'll set up a GoFundMe.
I don't.
Well, he'll be a millionaire in El Salvadorian jail.
Then again, what do I know? I was going to say, well, how could that help a deportation case? But then I'm like, well, how could that help somebody who says the gamer word? Or how could that help somebody who ended somebody else's life? It's like,
I'll be honest with you, there is a simple answer. It's lawyer fees. Lawyer fees.
I don't know if you would need lawyer fees for this, though.
You need a lawyer for everything. You don't think they need a lawyer for deportation, ICE, and their claim of false deportation. Damn well, I mean, I guarantee you there's going to be litigation.
That completely reminds me too. I completely lost. I lost one of my things for that first article. Now I'm just remembering.
Don't worry about it now. We're past
No,
that.
I'm not gonna. We're not gonna relitigate it now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. We have next
Finally,
segment, which is
thank God.
real
Yes.
fun. Yeah,
Next
this is the
segment.
segment that Duke's been itching to do, but I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna
All
make
right,
it wait
now.
one more minute because I'm gonna
I'm
make you wait
ready.
1 minute because I really gotta use the bathroom. So please hold on. Do the Jeopardy music till I get back.
All right, I'm going to talk a little bit about it. We have had some discussions over the past couple recordings. 100 people versus one gorilla. It's a very simple topic and yet a very hot topic. I myself have not only talked about it with Dutch, I've had a conversation with a roommate of mine and a mutual friend, and boy, was it an interesting conversation. I can't wait to hash some more things out with Dutch, because he is a firm believer that 100 men can take down one gorilla. And I'll tell you right now, he's wrong. One gorilla can absolutely take down 100 men. And I can't wait to talk about it more in depth. Right now, the issue that I'm seeing is there's really no way to prove one way or another. We can do AI renderings, and plenty of people have, but ultimately this is going to be an opinion piece because there is no way to truly see in the right circumstances, in the right situation, if 100 men could take down one gorilla. But that's not what we're necessarily here for. We don't need to know absolutely which one would win. We just need to talk about it. That's what we're here for. Let's talk about it.
That's why I'm leaving.
All right. At this point, it takes a lot for me to really change my mind about this topic. I don't think it's going to happen. I've heard a couple different arguments. Oh, well, what if they're heavily trained and they all work out? And, oh, well, if I'm one of the 100, it's definitely going to happen. That's what everyone always loves to say. But there's there's a difference between talk and a difference between results. And I'll tell you right now, that gorilla will give you the result. Are you ready, Dutch?
You've been talking to me this whole time. I wasn't even here.
No, I gave some filler. I'm talking to the world. I gave some filler and some background about what discussions have been had, who I've been having discussions with, and ultimately who's correct. Me.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Gorilla.
I thought this is going to be a more silly segment, so I got my props. So.
Oh, well, there you go. Let's get ready. Next time, have your props ready and going.
I should have my props ready. I did have to pee also, so.
All right, he's getting ready.
So this has been a contentious debate. We have well, this is incorrect. I have on the screen. I have Chuck Norris versus 100 gorillas. Let's see
that
how
I
this
could
goes.
see. Yeah, that I could see. Yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. He wouldn't even break a sweat.
Oh, what just happened? Hold on. Oh, okay. Just fast forwarded, I guess. 'Cause he was still fighting a bunch of gorillas. And
yeah, he sped it up. I mean, if it was Chuck Norris in that 100, then no question the men are gonna win. But Chuck Norris isn't one of the 100.
This is probably the funnest topic we found on Twitter in a while, and it's given us an interesting debate. I don't know why, because I'm entirely on the side of the 100 men. I really am.
And I'm entirely on the side of the gorilla. That's why it's such a great debate.
Doesn't make any sense. There's no way one gorilla could beat 100 guys. It's just...
it makes perfect sense.
I don't think so.
AI thinks it's very doable for one gorilla to beat 100 men.
I don't know.
Most AI renderings say that that's how it would end up.
I have not seen one AI thing that I think is even close to accurate. Like, it's like I should play the Chuck Norris thing
That's a
again.
good opinion. But that's all it is.
No, I'm not even joking.
Oh, I'm sure you're not joking, but that's a good opinion.
We got this image here. Well, okay. Let me hear your arguments again, since we're relitigating this for the third time now. Let's hear your arguments.
Actually,
for the gorilla.
detail this for the audience and give them a true idea of our opinions. Personally, 100 men, awesome, spectacular. How many men can surround that gorilla at one time? Maybe 20, 30
I'd
tops.
say 15 to 20. Yeah.
That gorilla can take out that 15 to 20 men in less than 10 seconds with 4 or 5 swipes. He's taken out 100%. One swipe of that gorilla arm.
I'm gonna let you say your piece, then I'll say my piece. You go.
One swipe from a gorilla paw would absolutely incapacitate every person that paw touches. If not, breaks an arm, breaks something, unconscious, or unalives. Either way, that gorilla will demolish that 20 people that is surrounding him in less than 1 minute. And what do you think that 80 people that see that gorilla kill those 20 people? Oh, well, you know what? He killed those 20 people. Let's send 20 more people. We'll get him this time.
No. We already set up the parameters. It's not a fight or flight. It's a fight. You have to fight.
I understand that, but that doesn't change morality. Morality is morality. It's when somebody sees 20 people die in front of them in less than a minute from a savage beast ravaging them. That's still there in their head. You can fight him. I'm not running. I'm still going to fight him, but I'm still also going to remember that he just killed 20 people in front of me in less than a minute. Go ahead.
I want to say, I mean, you could go into the bite force of the gorilla, a strength of a gorilla. You had statistics the other day. You said,
so
well, how much can a gorilla, you said, or like a...
I was looking up. Apparently, there's mixed reviews. But long story short, on average, a gorilla could lift around 4,000 pounds. I heard maybe 2,000 pounds. Either way, let's say low end 2,000 pounds. The average adult male is 200 pounds. That right there, he can lift 10 people at the same time doing a personal record bench press.
Yeah, if it was in the form of weights, but it's not in the form of weights. It's people.
Okay, but you're there, and he could use his momentum of movement to increase his strength. So that 20 people that's surrounding him, he can literally move with ease because he is capable. He is that strong. So the fact that they can get in his range, awesome, spectacular. You're in his range. Guess what? He can push you away. He can punch you away. He can swat you away. He can jump from side to side, agile, as quick as, I think, the speed of like 2 people. I think gorilla is so almost 2,000 pounds, 1,800 pounds. So it would be
typical silverback gorilla weighs 430 pounds, stands 5 feet tall. Silverbacks are incredibly strong, can lift over 1,763 pounds or 800 kilograms for anyone who's not tuning in America. I don't know.
So you can lift roughly 8 to 9 people at the same time.
Of dead weight, yeah.
Of dead weight at the same time.
Twice as much as a well-trained weightlifter. So, and I'm assuming, to be fair, I'm going to assume that nobody is...
The average person is not a weightlifter.
I'm going to put like the gorilla in the 80th, 90th percentile of gorillas. It's not a super gorilla. It's not King Kong.
No.
But let's put it in the 80th, 90th percentile. And let's put the men probably in... I mean, can you... sorry, car just went by. Let's put them in the 50th percentile, like an average person. Like, somebody who's probably around, the median height, median weight. I would say that's fair. The gorilla's got to be a little more stacked physically, but to me, it's a numbers game. It's 100, man. Like 100.
Numbers games work in certain scenarios, like the one with the rats, but I don't think the numbers game work when you're talking about something that is just exponentially stronger and faster and aggressive.
If it was you versus 100 rats, who do you think would win?
Again, It's a compromise that is different because of the rats. I'm not superhuman.
I could bite a gorilla if I wanted to.
And
I have more bite force than a rat does, I guarantee it. I don't need to look it up. Like, if I wanted to, I'm not, like I said, my view is, I'm not saying the gorilla couldn't clock a couple people, but one, even if it gets down, even if it's a super gorilla and it knows kung fu, it's gonna get tired. It can't take out 100 people.
No, they're known to have endurance. They're known to have stamina.
Endurance of taking out 100 people?
I mean, what's the endurance of taking out 100 people? That's subjective. It all depends on...
Mike Tyson versus 100 women. Who would win? The women.
It's a lot of variables. I don't know.
No, it's the women. I look at it purely on numbers. It's purely a numbers game to me. It's just, hey, the gorilla is stronger. A punch from a gorilla, a well-directed punch, like if a gorilla full force clocked you in the head, you would probably be dead. Probably. But
agreed.
Is he going to... I don't think he can do that with 100 people. They're not going to line up and let him smash them. It's like, eventually if somebody jumps on their arms...
100 punches. You know how many punches there are thrown in one boxing fight?
But those aren't like full.
But we're talking about human stamina. Now we're talking about human stamina, which is less than a gorilla's stamina. So if a gorilla only has to do 100 successful punches to kill 100 men,
I'm not debating that at all. Like, I'm not saying that a gorilla, obviously, I think probably does have more stamina than, even the most like physically physical person. Like even the most like jacked bodybuilder. I think I will not debate that.
I forget the exact number, but it's something like 35 miles per hour.
I think a silverback gorilla versus Mike Tyson.
Gorilla can run 35 miles per hour. That's insane.
But this is nothing to do. And that's good for endurance.
Agility, stamina, everything. Like, dude,
but this isn't about running. This is about like just physicality. If it was against Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali,
a lot of people's arguments is, swarm them, capture. Again, something that's running 35 miles per hour and strong enough to just throw you off of them. You're not swarming that. You're not dogpiling on that. You're not catching that. You're not subduing that. Something that can lift twice as much as you and is also 1.5 times your speed. But yet, we're supposed to be able to believe that.
If I was going to go up against a silverback gorilla, I would say if I don't have weapons, even if I had a weapon, if it was like,
dude, even if I had a weapon, there's no chance I'm beating the gorilla. A gun, maybe, so I could shoot it from far away.
If I had a gun,
other than
maybe,
that, yeah. If I had just a melee weapon, I still wouldn't want to face the gorilla. I still wouldn't want to fight him. You can give me a spear. I still wouldn't want to fight the gorilla. I'd give myself better odds, but I still wouldn't want to fight him because the odds are not in my favor.
Yeah, but there's 100 people. That's what I was coming.
And then you got 30 or 40 people that just watch 30 or 40 people die, and they're like, "Fuck! I guess it's our turn." And then that last 10 people, oh yeah, we're the ones that are definitely going to take him down because he's tired.
I don't even think it would take him. If you're
going, he just killed 80 people. He's tired. We got this.
Even think about this. You're trying to bring in how humans would feel about it. How would the gorilla feel if it's surrounded by 100 people? It would be scared out of its mind. If you're going to bring in, the mentality to it, it would literally just lose its mind. It would be screwed. It would go into a fight mode. It would have to, but but it would be scared out of its mind.
It would be probably overstimulated. I think would probably be.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, it probably would be shocked and like, okay, so what do I do here?
If I was one out of 100 people that had to fight a gorilla bare hands to take it, I would be overstimulated. Yeah. I can only imagine how the gorilla would feel.
That's why when you were getting yourself ready and together, I said, like, this is completely an opinion piece. There's really no way to know the absolute truth because this is a very hard scenario to make happen. And it's not going to happen. We're not going to ever get 100 people versus one gorilla to death in a fight.
Mr. Beast is apparently going to do it, so.
I'd love it. Mr. Beast, shout out. Please do it.
Yeah, Mr. Beast, yeah. Mr. Beast is going to do it. 100 men versus a gorilla.
Yeah.
He's probably going to encounter some lawsuits.
I was gonna say I'm fairly certain his sponsors are telling him no, don't do that.
I would, but it would get views. It would get a lot of views.
Considering he gets views for like chocolate bars, I'm sure that would definitely get views.
Well, listen, we should say this after probably every segment. I keep forgetting, but especially for this because it's such a contentious issue. If you're still watching, please leave a comment down. Would 100 men beat one gorilla? And if you could also leave a like on the video and also
let us know your opinions for sure. We definitely want to hear.
Yeah, and let Duke know why he's wrong. That 100 men can obviously beat a gorilla.
Definitely make sure.
I've been trying to convince him for 3 segments now.
Please, everyone, let's have Dutch get a dose of reality and find out the truth that one gorilla
numbers game,
can
man.
do
It's not a dose of reality.
Please let him know.
It's pure numbers, like.
All right, on to the next topic. I think we've talked about
saying,
this.
One more thing. You're already saying 100 rats could take you. You're saying 100 rats could take you down, right? 100 rats. They could take you down, and
I got nothing left
right?
to say about this topic. I've aired out all my stuff.
100 rats. I think probably 30, 40 rats could take me down. I mean, it's like I'm not like, and I'm like the average height. I'm 5'10". I'm the average height for a male apparently in the whole world spectrum or whatever. I don't know if I could fight 30 rats. I really don't. Like, it's just, I could kill a couple. I guarantee that. But could I get all of them before they just eat me apart? I don't know. I don't think so.
All right, let's move on to the next topic.
You just want to move on to Thunderbolts because you can't win this topic.
Down on that.
You know them, right? You just want to move on.
Let's get rid of that on your screen there. You got some questionable content
here we go.
on there.
We were gonna play the trailer for Thunderbolts, but due to copyright issues, we can't. So just make believe that the characters are doing stuff. We were talking about this. This movie seems pretty good. Duke has actually seen it, so I'm gonna let him take over this segment.
All right. So Thunderbolts asterisk. Very important. Let's not forget that. I'll talk about that later. I want to give a disclaimer before we start this section. Spoilers. There might be some. I'll try my best to make sure I don't give out any important information or AKA spoilers, but I am human. So please
you can
take this with a grain of salt. Just be wary. Be careful. If you don't want to experience any spoilers, feel free to stop right here and not continue the video. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, I went to go see.
Before you go into the review, what we did before, because I'm like a casual Marvel watcher.
Mm-hmm.
So what is Thunderbolts exactly?
So I went to go see Thunderbolts yesterday, and Thunderbolts is a group in Marvel Universe, in the comics, that is the equivalent to what people would know as Suicide Squad in DC. It is a group of anti-heroes / villains that have come together to form a group. Typically, there is a government agency involved that has some handlings with it as well. This movie details that. So now I'm going to get into the actual movie itself. I went to AMC theaters yesterday. Got to see it in 3D. I personally will give you my rating right now, actually, before I even tell you anything. I would say it is an 8 out of 10. I thought it was a solid movie with not over-detailed description. We all know these characters already. They didn't bother to explain who these characters were, which thankfully they didn't waste time doing that.
I don't know what really too many of these characters. I know
I'm not
who's
gonna,
this?
I mean,
Red.
I don't think we should spend time really necessarily talking about the details of their background. I will mention their names. These characters right here, we have Red Guardian to the left, and then Ghost would be the character to the right of him.
From the Ant-Man movie.
From the Ant-Man movie, yes. That's what she was featured in. Then we have Bucky, which is the Winter Soldier in the middle.
Yep.
Yelena.
Florence Pugh.
Yep, Florence Pugh, who is Natasha's unbiological sister from the
she's
Red
another
Room
Black
and
Widow,
a Black
right?
Widow, yes. And
And
then we have who was
discount Captain America.
briefly known as Captain America, U.S. Agent, better known as U.S. Agent in the comics. He tried his best to be Captain America, but ultimately his personality took over and led him to do some questionable things. Those are the characters that are in the picture. There was another member of the team. There's actually two more members of the team in the movie. The one member of the team is Taskmaster. She is briefly in the movie, only in the beginning.
Yeah,
At this
she's
point,
in the Black Widow movie too.
it is not a spoiler. She doesn't survive. We all knew she wasn't going to survive because everything that came out about the movie did not feature her. So it was speculation, and I can confirm.
You said not a spoiler. I think that is a spoiler.
It is not a major spoiler. Everyone knew that she was not going to be a major character in the group. Again, please let me do the review. I'll let you know, Tyler. She is not a major character. They just used her as a piece to try and connect some dots and try and connect some of the actual rosters and the characters that they did use. The other one that is in the team and is featured heavily is Bob. His name is Bob, a.k.a. the Sentry. Now, again, not a spoiler. We all know that Bob was this individual who becomes the Sentry. It explains how he becomes a Sentry in the movie. I won't get into those details because that would be a spoiler. But at this point, the roster includes those 6 individuals. To recap, it would be Red Guardian, Ghost, Winter Soldier, Black Widow, I guess we could call her, U.S. Agent, and the Sentry.
Is that her actual name? She
She does not. Widow, she does not go by Black Widow, but she is referred to as a Black Widow.
She is a Black Widow.
Black Widow, even though it was used as Natasha Romanoff's name, technically Natasha Romanoff was not the Black Widow. She was a Black Widow. They are all Black Widows. Yeah. Every woman that is trained in the Red Room is a Black Widow. Okay, there was another Black Widow in the most recent Marvel movie, Captain America, Brave New World. She was an associate of the President's. Red Hulk.
I got. Just so everybody out there knows, I have a pretty basic understanding about this. Duke is he knows a lot more about the comics and the lore than I do. So
yeah, I'm the self-proclaiming I am a geek. I love my Marvel. I have Hulk tattooed on my fist. I'm a geek. It's okay. I'm all right with it. This movie did a good job putting these characters together and giving them a story to really develop into a team. You know, obviously, we knew they were going to form a team. That's what the Thunderbolts is. It's a team. But they still had to tell a story how this team came together. And it was a solid story. It was an 8 out of 10 story. The plot was not misleading. It was not full of holes. I thought it connected the dots very well. And the villain, who, again, non-spoiler, was one of them. I'll leave it at that.
You alluded to the big bad a little bit before.
Yeah, but I don't want to go into full details because that would be a spoiler. One of the members of Thunderbolts is the villain, and then the rest of the members have to fight that member in order to stop that member from destroying the world. At this point, they did a pretty good job with how they depicted the bad guy who was the Sentry and all the things that he did. He is a very strong character in the Marvel Universe, equivalent to the powers of Superman. That's how strong. So if anyone knows Superman, which everyone at this point, unless you live under a rock, you know who Superman is and what type of powers he has. Well, the Sentry can do similar abilities, but even more complex things. And again, I'm not going to get too far into the details because that would be a spoiler of a lot of what happens in the movie, and especially the end part of the big cosmic event, or not cosmic, but world-altering event. But ultimately, they end up banding together and form a team that is not called the Thunderbolts. That's why it's asterisk. I kind of had a feeling that's why there was an asterisk. Again, not going to spoil what they call the team. That I'll leave for you to figure out when you finish the movie. They do it in a nice post-credit scene where they display the new team name. It's not too hard to figure out. It's very basic, and again, if you follow the comics, you kind of already know what it is. But
so this is going to be a kind of a continuation, maybe not another Thunderbolts movie, but
no, this definitely just like all Marvel movies, they connect to each other and they lead into other movies.
I think it's next year they're launching Doomsday.
So there are multiple movies that will connect to this. All movies in Marvel connect to this.
So
you're not familiar with this, but every single movie, that's why these post-credit scenes exist, is to lead you to the next movie. At this point, they are going to the next time you will see them will most likely be Doomsday. Avengers Doomsday.
It's going to kind of be like when the Guardians popped up in Infinity War.
Yeah. They all have everything, even though their movies might not necessarily have to do with each other, they all intertwine eventually, especially when you get to the big blockbuster movies like Endgame, like Infinity Wars, like Doomsday, like Secret Wars. They've already, I don't know if you witnessed the chair reveal for Doomsday. The chair reveal was insane, how many people they're bringing in for the movie, but we already knew there was going to be a big cast for this movie. Another one of the post-credit scenes, there was two, leads you to, again, don't want to give you any spoilers.
You can say spoilers, just say spoilers. And then
it's a spoiler. It introduces the Fantastic Four, officially for the first time.
Oh, yeah, I
on a
thought
screen.
they're going to come into it, too. Yeah.
And how they enter their universe, the MCU universe. So, again, all the dots connect one way or another between one movie to the next. They always connect them. Marvel is wonderful at that, and one of the reasons why they are arguably, opinionatively better than DC, because they are really good at building a universe.
DC is not... well, the problem with DC,
They're good at building a universe that actually makes sense and connects.
Well, they just
That's
rush
what I
it
give
too
Marvel.
much. It's like,
yeah,
Iron Man was a huge success.
They put thought
then
into it.
They came out with Captain America, then they did Thor. But they did, what was it? It was 5 or 6 movies before they did an Avengers movie, which was smart because you get to build this whole thing. And you get to make a comprehensive
They take the individual movies and they like to build and establish the character so that they could use it for other projects down the road.
Yeah, which I think is a good
other projects down the road, and absolutely, they've built a wonderful formula. Is every single movie and show that they come out with a success and wonderful and 5 stars? No.
Oh no, definitely not.
Not at all. But
especially
the universe as a whole, does it make sense and is it good? Yes.
Well,
it is. It's one of the most successful universes there is to date in media.
Well,
for that reason.
From a casual viewer's perspective, and really, I don't know very much about comics at all. I'm really kind of in the dark about that. But from a casual viewer's perspective, it seems like they did a very good job making Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. But Phase 4 was not nearly as successful. It got, I don't know. I would just say it kind of got too big. It just went off because it seemed like Phase 1 through 3, it kind of told a whole comprehensive story, even not everything tied in perfectly.
We are talking about multiverses. If multiverses isn't big, then it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah.
If multiverses was small, would that make sense? That's
I'm
my
not
argument.
super,
I've had this
not
discussion not just with you. I've had this discussion with other people who actually do, but they've had that statement before, and that's exactly what I say. Would it make sense for a multiverse to be small?
No,
no. The answer is no.
But
of course it's expansive, and of course it's going to be confusing at times, and of course it's going to even borderline not even make sense. But that's what a multiverse is. It's not supposed to necessarily make sense. It's a
But
it's a
I wanted to say,
multiverse.
I think MCU has been on a downward track really since Phase 3 ended. It kind of got a lot. It
It's
got
been said,
disjointed.
yeah, ever since
Not,
Endgame, it's been
yeah, not that it
not
couldn't come
as
back
good.
together. I mean, it obviously has a lot of potential. It still could come
I
back
think that's the
together.
best way to put it. It's been
And
not
it'll
as
be
good.
very interesting. It'll be very interesting to see how it comes back together. If they can, really do another Avengers, it'll do it justice. I know a lot like Iron Man's
With
gone,
so you wouldn't
Captain
know
America's
about this,
gone.
but with the storyline that is Doomsday and with the storyline that of Fantastic Four coming out, they're just reintroducing X-Men and Secret Wars. All the comic book geeks that know all those 4 aspects know what's in store and what's coming, and they'll tell you without even watching a single clip, shit's gonna happen. Shit's gonna get real, and it's gonna be awesome. Because there's no way you could tell those 4 stories without it being awesome. Just the characters alone that are in it, the storylines that are in it. It doesn't matter how they adapt it and change it for the way that they want to change it. As long as they actually tell the stories that we already know that are going to happen with those storylines, the Doomsday and the Secret Wars, the sky's the limit. It's up to them to really screw up. It really is up to Marvel to screw up because the road is well paved for them with the comics.
Yeah, and if they follow the comics more closely, they'd probably be more successful. I don't know. They're just hit or miss lately. I mean,
movies. I mean, again, that's more of an opinion thing because movies, especially with the movies and the TV show, you got the audience that loves when they stick to the comics, and then you got the audience that says, "I've already seen this. I want a different story." So it all depends who you're trying to satisfy. You're never going to satisfy everyone.
And Marvel's been hit or miss on that lately, but
yeah.
From the ratings, we got IMDb here. The average rating on it is a 7.8 out of 27,000 reviews, so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
It says the mean 8. is 8.0, which I'm not really too sure what that means. But that was Duke's score, so Duke's got the Duke's lining up with the IMDb thing, and it's like there's a lot more positive reviews on this than negative reviews. And I always say I don't know about IMDb so much. I normally more defer to Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes,
and this is where it's a lot more divisive normally. And like I said, I haven't seen it. Duke has. He says it's an 8. Critics are giving it an 88%, and general moviegoers are giving it a 95%. So obviously, this seems like it's going to do pretty well for them. Let's see what top critic
let's
here
see what
says.
some other critics say.
I'm gonna pull this up real quick. I don't want to read a whole article though. Jeez. I just want to read,
just read the little blurbs that are right there,
clever, funny, heartfelt anti-hero story brings several second and third string Marvel characters together for their own slapdash adventure while focusing on themes of trauma and healing.
That's another thing. Hold on, let me stop you real quick. That's another point that I didn't bring up that Marvel is very good at. They're excellent at making B and C list superheroes popular. Iron Man's a perfect example. Iron Man is not an A-list superhero.
Mm-hmm.
He never was, but he is now because of what Marvel did. But I'll continue.
Yeah, when you think of or at least like I said, I don't have any real comic reference, but I would think of maybe probably if I was gonna think of the Marvel universe, first would be Spider-Man.
Yeah, people always think Captain America, Hulk, Spider-Man, or people from the X-Men.
Yeah, probably
Fantastic
Captain
Four. A lot of people always say stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man, Hulk, Captain America, I would say. Yeah, but I know Iron Man wasn't really even on the radar. He was B, C tier list hero.
I mean, look at Black Widow. I mean, maybe the movie wasn't the best, but
I didn't know who Black Widow was until
how many
no
movies?
idea who that was until
how many movies has she been in? Shoot, and her just that one character and her story led to other characters like Yelena being in movies, like I forget what the name is of the other Black Widow that was in the other Captain America movie. It's ever expanding universe. I love it. Me as a comic book geek, man, I love this stuff. Just keep expanding it. Make it more complex. Give me more characters. There's an infinite amount of characters. I want to see them all.
I mean, with Disney at the helm, you probably will. Eventually, they'll exhaust everybody. And let's see.
I might not see every single product in the movies, but I'm okay with it. I'll watch it probably at some form or another.
From beginning to end, Thunderbolts is not only an undeniably entertaining spectacle, but it's one of the most heartfelt and deeply emotional films in the entirety of the MCU. This is a rotten score, tries to compensate for being basically an origin story for an asterisk with an unholy combination of soy banter and therapy speak. Fresh, positive. The third act hits a few pacing snags, but shows a lot of restraint as far as typical blockbusters go. Thunderbolts drama is remarkably human, the product of well-crafted storytelling that actually puts in the legwork to deliver a satisfying resolution, which I would think would be hard to do.
Mental health is actually like the big bad in this movie. I'm not gonna lie. Like, again, not spoilers. I'm not going to go in detail with that statement. But mental health is kind of the big bad in this movie.
The guy, he's got the what do you call it?
So
the atomic bomb power.
You wouldn't know this, but anybody who has read the comics and knows the Sentry, he is schizophrenic.
Okay.
So I'll leave it at that. You can make your own assumptions after that. But his schizophrenia and his alter egos, wink wink, have a big thing to do with the movie and the villain and the plot.
I'm just going up and down here. I mean, most of the reviews are, I mean, some of them are rotten, but most of them, I mean, 3 out of 4, 3 out of 4, 3 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 7.5 out of 10. What is this rating score? Can you just do whatever you want? Can I do like a 5 out of 7?
Yeah, out of 4, out of 5, out of 10, out of... I want to do one out of...
an 8 out of 10, then there's a 3 out of 5, a 6 out of 10. I don't understand this rating score.
Can I do like... I want to grade it in 83 out of 1,000. No, out of 100. That would be accurate.
Like I said, I mean, it's got... We go back, it's got good reviews. So, I'm not gonna recommend anything because
I'd recommend to go see it. Anybody who is a fan of the comics and who was on the fence about going see it, because I know there were some early remarks made about it that it wasn't going to be good or that it wasn't going to be ... Go see it. If you're a comic fan, go see it. It does it justice and is a good adaptation.
Movie, that I really enjoyed, I think, was
definitely sets up the next couple movies.
The last movie, and because I enjoy kind of team up things like Guardians. I think the last movie I watched that I really enjoyed from the MCU was Guardians 3.
Even though this is totally different, this is reminds me a lot of the team dynamic of the Guardians. You definitely have your comic relief in the team with the Red Guardian. He's probably the biggest comic relief, and Florence Pugh is really good with her humor and sarcastic humor specifically. She's always been very good with the sarcastic humor as that character. And it fits that role perfectly. She's made it her own. Sebastian Stan being Mr. Straight Edge, and he's actually a congressman in this movie, as he was in the Captain America movie. Spoiler alert, he's not a congressman at the end of the movie.
We don't gotta keep. We just gotta say spoilers at the beginning. We don't gotta keep saying it.
I like to say spoiler alert, like when I'm saying controversial stuff, but it doesn't. It's really. I'm saying it sarcastically in a sense because it's not really that much of a spoiler. Yeah, he's part of a superhero team. Obviously, he's not a congressman anymore. Again, it's not a spoiler.
All right, so we got the Duke's recommendation is if you
go see it,
have the opportunity, go see it.
8 out of 10. Yeah.
Not a perfect movie. But
there you go. You just saw. You see the new name. The asterisk gets replaced by what? You scroll up real quick.
By the cat?
Nope. Scroll up.
Oh.
Right there, New Avengers. The Thunderbolts gets erased from the screen, and New Avengers is the team name. They're known as the New Avengers by the end of the movie, by the post-credit scene.
Don't the old Avengers still exist, though?
Nope. Again, if you see the movie, it'll explain it. Not giving any details. That's spoilers that don't need to be spoiled. You can get that information when you go see the movie. But
it's still like Thor and Hulk, right?
Again, you'll find out all the details
about
all that stuff. These are questions that should not be asked during a review.
Maybe I will go get a ticket.
There is a reason why you need to go see the movie, and that's one of the reasons. It'll give you all those details in the movie.
Down the road for me, so maybe I will do that.
Yeah, go see it at that wonderful movie theater that you have. I wish.
Yeah, it is a wonderful movie theater. It's My favorite movie theater happens to be 3 minutes from my house. So
I like the AMC theaters, especially with me being an investor of AMC. But your theater that you talked about, the historic one, I forget what it's called, Foxy.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Foxy Theaters. They sounds like they got a good setup over there, and I'm envious. I wish I had one.
Come down and visit. Come down and visit me.
I wish I had a theater like that. I'll
You'll be
have to
blown
come
away
down
when they're going
sometime
back
and
into the
go see a
1930s.
movie with you or something. Yeah, that would be cool.
All right. Well,
I think that's all we had today.
spent a lot more time on this segment than we did on any other ones, which is.
I told
but
you.
Hey, that's all right. You know,
if you give me a
go see
platform to
Thunderbolts.
talk about geeky stuff, I can talk your ear off all day.
No, that's totally. I just wish I had a visual to go along with it. You know,
No visual. Honestly, no visuals needed. When you're talking about a review, I don't know. I personally think the less, I don't want to be able to watch a review and be like, oh, I've seen it already. I don't need to go see it. Does that make sense? You know, I really don't want to give out details about this movie or any movie that I review.
Some people do.
I want to
Some
give
people
you
do want
enough
that, though, 'cause they wanna
to
know, is it,
give
like,
you a
worth it for
taste
me to go
of
see
what
it?
you're going to expect. But I don't want to tell you what the movie is. I don't want to tell you what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
I get that. But, yeah.
All that
Some people really want to, you know, because your dollar doesn't go as far today. Some people are like, should I, you know, because it's expensive to go to the movies. You know, it's
Well,
not cheap anymore.
I'm not going to promote it, but if you are in a situation where you can't afford to go to the movies, you can always find Reddit groups that talk about alternatives. I'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, I think we're pretty much we're finishing up on that segment, and that's our show for today.
Thank you for joining us. I had a
I don't
good
know how many
time
views we're
talking
gonna
about
get on
these
this.
things.
It's our first episode.
Please
You know,
make sure to
obviously,
like
leave
us,
a comment what
follow,
we
and
can
subscribe
improve on,
if
what
you
you
like
liked.
our content.
Mm-hmm.
We'll try
Yeah,
and
something
make
to
sure
improve
we
on.
get doing to this on a regular basis and a couple times a week.
Yeah, leave a like, or hey, even leave a dislike if if you really hated
Yeah.
it that much.
Let
you
us
can
know
always
what
do
you
it.
liked about it. Let us know what you didn't like about it. I'm fine
is
with it
very
either
true.
way.
All right. Well, I'm Dutch. That's Duke, and we're signing off. And
Take
if
it
you're still
easy.
with us, thank you for joining us.
Thanks again. Have a good day.